I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times, cause anything worth doing is a tough climb.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're in Way of the Hunter, but the video is actually a special and different kind of video today. It's not actually about Way of the Hunter. I was out here stand hunting and looking over some comments and hanging out with the Discord. And it got me thinking that a lot of people make such positive comments on my thumbnails and the AI art I use that I thought I would make a bit of an episode about that. This one specifically is going to be about not just Way of the Hunter, but any sort of game that you like, taking a screenshot inside of your game and then trying to make an AI image or AI image and AI art out of it. So I thought I'd do a bit of the process. It's not going to be like a super in-depth tutorial, just going to show you a bit, kind of one way about how it's done. So I was sitting here and I seen these lovely elk coming in. So I figured I would go into the photo mode of the Way of the Hunter, take a photo, something, a nice angle or something like that of these elk. Take the photo and then see if we can turn it into art using an AI program. So we'll be hunting with a camera today. I figured if I made a YouTube video about AI art, I might be attracting a few people that aren't into hunting or anything like that, so I figured I wouldn't do any hunting in this video in case, not everybody's really into that sort of thing, but might be interested into learning a bit about the AI art and specifically taking your favorite game and seeing if you can do some fancy stuff with it. So all I'm doing is waiting for these guys. I didn't call them or anything like that. This small little group here is coming in on their own. Looks like just to a drink zone here, but I think they're going to keep traveling along here. So if they get a bit closer, I think the range of the camera, a little drone, is 100 meters or so. Not actually sure, but I'll wait until they get over here and we'll take a bit of a picture. Okay, so we're in the photo mode now, taking a nice picture of this bull elk here. When setting up a photo to go into the AI, you want to make it you don't want it complicated. You want to sort of see, I don't want to take a picture where there's multiple elk in here because it can confuse it when it's being based off of an image. You kind of want to keep it as simple as you can get. I mean, especially for starters. So what we're going to do is I'm trying to just get a nice little angle here on this guy, doing the 1/3 rule here. Getting some water in it. I changed kind of the lighting to it. And what we'll do is we'll take this picture here and then we'll work with it a bit. Okay, we're over in Discord now. Mainly because the program I use mostly is Midjourney, and it's a AI art program that's Discord based. Now there's tons and tons of different AI art programs out there. But Midjourney is a good one to start with because it's in my opinion, the easiest one to get really good results in. The downside to Midjourney is that it's subscription based, so it costs a bit of money. But this video is not specifically on Midjourney. You can use any kind of AI art program, but I'm just going to generally show you sort of how it's done. The different AI art programs do it a bit differently. But yeah, basically this is kind of the Midjourney way. And it is sort of the way how I make my thumbnails. Now, making the thumbnails, I don't actually use screenshots from the games, but I thought this would be neat to see for other people that, could use any kind of game, want to take a nice screenshot from it, and then try to turn it into some kind of AI art or play around with it anyway. So I actually got two screenshots here. I got the one that we took out earlier, and the moose one I took earlier. So we'll play with the elk one here first and just kind of see how it goes. I don't actually know if anything's going to turn out really well or not. Usually you have to roll quite a few times, kind of fiddle around with the prompts and see what you get. Now with Midjourney, I have this private chat opened up with the Midjourney bot. When you subscribe to it, you can do this sort of thing where you have your own little chat with the bot. They do offer free trials that are currently going on and off right now, mainly because of a lot of that fake stuff that's out there. They have to disable it because people have been abusing the art kind of thing. But sometimes the trials are running, and if so, you can hop in and sort of give it a go. Now, it all operates by prompts, but the way you take a photo and put it in is you basically upload it to the chat, and then all I do is right click on it and copy the image link. And before you do much, you can just kind of go down to the chat little area and build your prompt. So we're just going to paste the link in here. Now it might be hard to see on the screen when I'm typing everything in. But what I'll do is I'll kind of boost it in the video so you can sort of see the prompt when it's done. But you don't actually need anything very complicated. When you have an image there, you kind of want to keep it simple. So all we're going to do is tell the AI, this is an elk in summertime, Alaska. And actually that's all we kind of really need. It'll actually take the rest with it. You can kind of tweak it later, but when it's got an image based on, like an image to base everything off of, you don't really need to be too descriptive, and you can always add as you go. So we'll just keep it real simple. Elk in summertime, Alaska. And I put summertime in there because the AI likes to make it snowy in Alaska, right? So that's all we do. We got to put a few little modifiers kind of in there. And how you do it in Midjourney, you do a couple dashes, and then you can do all these little modifiers. The first one's AR, which stands for aspect resolution. A YouTube thumbnail 16:9. And then what I'm also going to tell it to use is which algorithm to use, and it's version 5 is their fancy one right now, which is a --v space 5. They have many different algorithms, and you can actually play around with the different ones, and they can mix together in a way. Anyways, it gets pretty fancy. And then one more I'm going to do is you can assign what's called image weight, how much inspiration the AI is supposed to take from the image, and that's done by --iw image weight. And with version 5, it's anywhere from like 0.1 to 2, like a maximum of 2. And we're going to put full image weight on here, image weight 2. And just because we wanted to look or take as much detail from the picture as possible. It doesn't copy the picture, it just uses the coloring, and it tries to use the position of everything. It doesn't really try to recreate, like it's not a copy thing. The best way to put it, it just takes inspiration. What I'm going to do is, before I put this chat in, I'm going to cut the entire prompt out because we've got it built. And with Midjourney, how it works is we do /imagine. We tell the AI bot to imagine something. When we do that, it opens up this little prompt section, and all we can do is paste our prompt in, and we push enter. And then it's going to start working away. I'm currently in fast mode, so it shouldn't take too long. Now, right now they're having a bit of a glitch. It doesn't normally put the picture in, like the one that I'm using in there. But essentially, all we do is wait for it to start. It's going to generate 4 images, and we'll just take a look at what it creates here. Alright, so it is done here. So we got our first result back. So it does give us 4 images, 16:9. Yeah, and this is what it did with a nice simple prompt with like an image to be inspired by. We can click on it, and hopefully this gets a little clearer in the video. As we can see, we got an elk. It tries to use the same kind of colors and, the same sort of sky. It's a clear kind of, kind of scattered cloud sort of scene. It knows there's a pond typed object in the picture. The best 2 I see here is number 1 and 2. How Midjourney does it is it's image 1, 2, 3, and 4. The bottom one, it decided to add additional elk in there, just because when you're keeping it nice and broad, where you're just saying elk in summertime, it could take that as plural, so it wants to throw some elk in here. But the elk aren't done very well in this image. This one in the bottom left, it's okay. But what we'll do is we'll make them all really large and take a closer look at them. But I'm not going to go into super detail on all the buttons and exactly what they do. Because it's, well, maybe it will. These ones across the top are just upscaling each one, make it larger. And then on the V2 through V4 at the bottom, just takes that image in that quadrant and runs it again to tries to make several more. So what we'll do is, you know what? Let's see here. Let's upscale the 3 we want to take a look at. So this goes really fast in version 5 because they've actually been pre-upscaled ahead of time with how they're doing the algorithm right now. So we're just going to do a 1, 2, and 3, and I'll get them working on. Let's do 4 new versions of number 1 just to see if there's any. Let's just see what it does here. All right, so this is the one I kind of like the best just at the first look at it, so we can make it bigger. So you got your elk, and you got your little lake. A nice little art there generated from it. Quite the large, thick rock on him there. And then here's another one. He's just standing broadside there. That's not bad as either. And then this guy here, I was a little concerned about the detail of him there, but actually no, he's not bad at all. He's turned and he's looking at the camera there. So it's not super photorealistic, these images are. It's kind of using the detail of the animal of the original image. As you can tell, you know, it's not photorealistic here as well, so it's basing all the textures and everything off of that. So you can see it's incorporated the rocks on the ground. But you can use this pretty much with any game and fiddle around with it. But you do want to keep it not super complicated. So here's where we took the first image and made 4 different variations of it. So they're going to be very similar. But then you can see if one really stands out. Each got the lake in them. This one's got nice little purple flowers in it. And you can, if one of these is better, you can pick it. So number 2 looks kind of good. 4 looks okay as well. You always got to watch how many legs they have, because it likes to add an extra one or take one of them away once in a while. So just like that, we can upscale 2, we can upscale number 4, and then you'll have a bunch of images that you can just sort of use based off your screenshot there. So very similar here. This one's got like a down tree in the back. But as you can see, they're looking, you know, sort of video game-like, because it does keep that sort of detail when it runs the algorithm. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the moose picture I took earlier, and we're going to run it through the system as well. Just do one more. I don't want to have the video go on too long, because I can talk forever about this Midjourney and all the sort of things you can do with it. Because we're just using a very basic prompt, and you can start getting pretty crazy with this stuff. So this is the original image. I want to use this one just so you can compare. Because the other one had a lake in it, this one does not. This one's got all these reddish vegetation in it. So it should grab that. I'm wondering about the mountain in the background. It should grab that as well. And we'll see how it does with the moose. So it's generating as we speak, if I scroll down through all our different results. And it's almost done. So here it is. Let's take a look, see how it did. So we're going to load this up here. So we do indeed have a moose of varying qualities, but it is adding water in, so that's interesting because it doesn't actually have water in the original picture. So anyways, when it's searching images of moose in Alaska, or it's searching Alaska and it's searching moose, I'm assuming it's popping up with lots of water in the picture. So it's just like, you want a moose in Alaska? Well, you must want water in your picture, because all these thousands of pictures of Alaskan moose together all have water in them. So of course they'd be hanging around in the swamp and everything like that. So the computer's sort of fighting it a bit, but you are seeing a bit of the red tint on the ground here with the vegetation. Now I'm going to pop a few of them larger. None of them have rendered a really great moose though. It's a great big bell on them there. I might run it another time. How you can do that? See, this moose only got 3 legs. This one's only got 3 legs really. It didn't do too hot on the moose. So what this little button in here is, if you didn't like any of the results, you can hit the button and it will run it again. And it shouldn't take too long to make another set of them, because I'm in fast mode. What can happen is the AI is skilled in different levels on which animals it can make. So for example, in The Way of the Hunter, it has caribou in it, but it has a hard time knowing what a caribou is. It knows it's a deer kind of species, but you get results where it's kind of looks like a moose, kind of looks like an elk, It doesn't quite know about caribou. Same thing if you're trying to make like a mule deer or a black-tailed deer versus a white-tail. It can get a little confused there, and it'll give you a white-tail when it's not supposed to. The AI is improving all the time in an exponential rate, but you do have to know its limitations right now. Moose it has a little bit of trouble with. Elk it has a much better time with. And it can make them much more photorealistic. It's mainly because we're using an image to base it off of. But here comes another run at the moose. We'll see how he does here. It's about to pop out at 100%. Now here he goes. Let's just take another look. See if there's any good ones in there. I'm liking these ones a lot better, actually. So it is dedicated on giving us water. Except for this one. It looks like maybe there's a puddle there or something. I'm not too sure. I do like these ones better. 1 and 2 worth keeping. I don't know about 3. He's got something going on with his nose. 4 might be okay. Let's just do number 1 and 2. And that's what I mean. You can get much better images of animals. That's what I mean. For my thumbnails, I don't actually use screenshots from the game, because when you're putting the screenshots in from the game, it is pulling too much information from that screenshot, and you won't get like it's inspired too much from the screenshot, where usually I want other different things going on there. But that's not bad there. He's got kind of a big long bell there. But you can see where it's drawn the inspiration from. There's the mountain in the background. Here's another mountain in the background here. He's kind of a happier looking moose. Looks like there is some kind of puddle there or something's going on there. But yeah, that is basically like a real quick rundown of how that's done. Now we're going to do one more little quick one here, because I want to show you how you can take kind of the same prompt, just kind of change it a little bit, and we'll just see if anything cool pops out here. Now one more thing I wanted to add is when I did the moose ones here, I did change the prompt slightly to a moose in summertime Alaska, to try and make it like it's a single moose. Before I just said elk, which could also be plural, so you might want to add a elk in summertime Alaska, something like that. So I did one more prompt on it. Using our elk picture before, and I did add a elk, so hopefully we don't get multiple elks, but I added watercolor painting in front of it. So it's a watercolor painting of an elk in summertime Alaska. So basically it's going to take our image and then try and apply watercolor painting to it. Now it might not work. I'm not too sure if it's going to work here, just because the image weight is so heavy. It's a maximum image weight, and it can override a lot of the prompt. But you can sort of see if it does change it a little bit here. That guy's looking more like a red deer. Let's just see how it altered it. See this bottom one, he's not really looking like an elk. He's looking like some kind of mix between a deer and an elk. Let's do 1 and 2, I suppose. And just see if it did anything like a watercolor added to it. Make it a little bigger there. He's kind of a skinny elk, but he's got the 4 legs. He's kind of smiling. He's kind of looking like an animated one. Yeah, I think so. If you look and you compare the trees in the background, I'm not actually sure if the watercolor did too much. Oh, I think it did. See, yeah, it did change a bit there. But what I'll do is actually run it one more time without the image weight with watercolor, and let's just see what happens. So I'm just going to copy this. And we're going to run one more run at it here. It takes a lot of playing around with, but I mean, as soon as you put an image in there to be inspired by, it overrides a lot. We had a heavy weight on it. So I'm going to run it one more time without adding additional weight to it. I just want to demonstrate maybe how you can take your screenshots from your game and, kind of make them look like a painting. Try anyways. I didn't actually look at this one too much while we're waiting for that one. Yeah, his legs are kind of messed up there. That's not horrible, I suppose. But the watercoloring thing definitely did not have much of an impact on it. All the textures and everything from the original image are overriding here. But you still get the lake. You're still getting the kind of the color. He's definitely looking like a Disney kind of elk. I mean, the trees are a bit different. The watercolor might be in there. So this one's starting to generate now. I don't know if there's any other ones to look here. This one's got some stuff in the sky that's came from entering watercolor to it. Not really too sure what it's doing there. Maybe it's something a bit in the grass. But let's see here. This one should be done in a second. And then we'll probably close off the video there. I just want to make a video on it just in case anyone wants to play around with it. It's best just to use this as kind of like personal hobby stuff. There's things to play around with. If you like photography and art and any kind of digital gaming and stuff like that, you can kind of blend them all together. And see here. So here comes one popping out without the image weight on it. And let's just see if the watercoloring has more of an impact there. So definitely a texture change with it. It's certainly not coming through as watercolor. In a way, this one is number 2 because of the splotching, and number 3. Okay, so you're definitely getting some of the watercolor effect now, and the texture of the elk is changing. This elk's only got 3 legs. This one might have a 4th leg. This one too. Let's just up one of them because you can definitely see the watercolor effect here. And that should pop back up. Yeah, he's definitely broadside, so the other leg might be behind there, but you can kind of see the splotching of it. But the texture of the elk all changed, kind of taking a bit of watercolor kind of thing. But this grass all changed, and a bit of a misty thing. And then what I will do is probably, I'll do one more here, but we just won't do the image at all, just so you can see just how, let's just give the AI free reign here. And we just want a watercolor painting of an elk in summertime Alaska. Just like as a thumbnail, no image from the screenshot, just to see just how much it does vary here without that weight being added. Alright, so there you have it. Now I removed any kind of image from the game at all, and just let the AI do a watercolor painting of an elk. So you can see definitely how different that image from the game changes it. So if you didn't have that there, you would never say this is attached to that game at all. It's just there's a watercolor image of an elk. But if you do include the image of the game, this is something you get. So you can definitely see where it's pulling from the Alaska texturing and the coloring from it. So that's, I mean, this can be applied to any kind of digital application, mainly game or whatnot, if you want to put anything in there. I've been interested in maybe going into like Elden Ring and using that kind of texture and imagery and lighting and putting it in here and seeing. But I just wanted to do a little video on that. Maybe there's some interest out there in how this is actually done. Again, this is only one way of doing it. It's done with a program called Midjourney, which is Discord based. They have some web application too, how you navigate your own account and your own gallery and stuff like that. But since I had so much questions over the last quite some time about the thumbnail art, I thought I would show sort of how it's done. But yeah, my thumbnails aren't actually created with images of the game for the most part. I have a slew of prompts over, it's got to be getting, I don't know, I have like 22,000 or something images made it in here. So I've got a huge collection of prompts that I pull from, and just kind of a whole lot of practice with it. But yeah, if you want to play around with any kind of AI art programs, that's kind of how it's done. No matter which one you use, most of them out there, just kind of be careful with them because some of them aren't that great at all. And this sort of area and technology is kind of exploding, so you're getting kind of shady stuff popping up there all over the place. But Midjourney is a good one, but it does have a subscription fee, but it is fun to play around with. So anyways, I hope that was informative for somebody out there, and hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back to, this is kind of like a bonus one. I'll probably hold off on one of the Harry Potter games and put this one in its spot for the day, just so I don't lose my Way of the Hunter schedule. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Everybody take care.